All right, Donald Trump is serving his last term as the President of the United States of America, and the question of his succession is now buzzing in the Republican Party as to who will be the one to take the baton from Donald Trump. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has put his weight behind U.S. Vice President JD Vance. In an interview with Lara Trump, Rubio said JD Vance would be a great presidential nominee.
You are talked about quite frequently as a possible contender in 2028. Do you have your sights set outside of the State Department?
Well, I think JD Vance would be a great nominee, and if you know, I think if he decides he wants to do that, and so you know, and I think he's doing a great job as vice president. He's a close friend, and I hope he intends to.
But when he was pushed to speak about his own presidential ambitions, Rubio deflected the idea and the question, saying that he is completely focused on his role as Secretary of State and wants to serve as long as the president allows. Through to the end of this term in 2028, Rubio may have fallen shy from hinting at his own presidential ambitions, but 54-year-old Secretary of State has already tried his luck for the top job. In 2016, Rubio led a full-fledged presidential run in Republican primaries, but failed to secure presidential nomination back then. According to the poll from Emerson College, Vance is leading against most Democratic front-runners for 2028. Against former Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, Vance is ahead with 44%, with 1% setting both apart. Against California Governor as well, Gavin Newsom, 45% say that they would support Vance, while 42% of the respondents said that they will vote for Newsom. Against Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 44% back Vice President JD Vance and 41% back Ocasio-Cortez. Well, JD Vance is expanding his footprint in Trump administration. From Jeffrey Epstein case to the big beautiful bill, Vance is Trump's trusted firefighter right now, going beyond the traditional duties of a vice president and playing an active role in the administration. But the race of Trump's succession is far from settled, as new leaders can throw their hat at any point, leading to 2028 presidential primaries. As of now, it remains to be seen who will be tasked to help the Republican Party secure the second consecutive presidential term after George W. Bush. And for more on this, we're now being joined live on Race to Power by Ugen Craig III. He's a political analyst and he's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Welcome back to Race to Power, Mr. Craig. First up, of course, how do you read the latest coming in from Washington, D.C., where Rubio has clearly backed JD Vance as the frontrunner for the 2028 presidential polls?
The thing is this, it's way too early for anybody to be backing anybody, but Marco Rubio is doing the smart thing to preserve his current job and not outshining the master, right? Naturally, you would think that JD Vance would be the front runner, being that he's the sitting vice president and Donald Trump is termed out come after this current presidential term. But one more time, you know, Marco Rubio very well could still run for president himself again. And, you know, we also know that Donald Trump likes to fire people, especially once they start to outshine he and those around him. So Marco Rubio did the proper thing and threw his weight behind what will be the presumptive nominee. But as we know, with primaries, anything can happen at any time. But as of right now, JD Vance would be considered the presumptive nominee, and Marco Rubio did the right thing to say, hey, he backs the presumptive nominee, although we're 4 years out.
Right, you say that Rubio did the right thing. Do you think that it will perhaps be a joint ticket between Rubio and Vance in 2028?
I think it's a possibility, but, you know, I think we don't even know who will end up being a nominee. I think you have to get through the 2026 elections next year. We have to get through the Virginia and New Jersey governor elections this year. There are a slew of House seats that are still vacant. But the thing is this, I think coming out of the 26 midterms next year and a bloodbath that I'm going to predict now a year out for Republicans, I think that the Trumpism, the MAGA brand may be very well damaged, and the Republican Party may be looking for somebody that can actually win and serve for 2 terms in the next election.
Now, Mr. Craig, my last question to you. I want to see your thoughts, your inputs. Do you see JD Vance as a potential Republican frontrunner for the 2028 polls? Because you mentioned it's too early, but the polls are giving JD Vance a big thumbs up.
I will say this, naturally the sitting vice president, when you have a president that's termed out, would be the natural successor. And so I think JD Vance is a front runner. I mean, at any given time, the deal world can come and pour money into the race. He would naturally inherit the Trump MAGA machine. And, he would have definitely a leg up upon anybody else that may decide to run.
Right, Mr. Craig, thank you so much for joining us here on Race to Power with your
Thank you.
insights.